Hi everyone, it's Diane. Welcome back. Oh my goodness. First, welcome to anybody who's new to my channel. I'm glad that you popped by. Welcome back to anyone who has watched my videos in the past. Next, I need to apologize for being gone for so long, especially just sort of like disappearing. I know I did a video in July and then dropped off the face of the earth, and I apologize. I'll get into story time in just a little bit here to explain why I was gone. Hopefully I'm back at least once a week. We'll see how things go, and I've missed making my cards. The only cards I've been making lately are thank yous. So let's get started on a really super simple card because I also have to remember how to do a video. It's been so long, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Hopefully I have everything out that I need. So this is a card that once I get my classes back started again here, because those were on pause too, this is a card we're going to do in the class. Different pattern paper and sentiments and stuff, but the layout's going to be the same because this is a super simple card, and you can do this with any paper you have. And to prove that, this is an old Stampin' Up! Pack, what I have left of it, and it was from 2016, and it was called All About Birthdays. Maybe. I don't know. Wildflower Fields, maybe? So anyways, I did research way back when and wrote down some colors that match this paper, and I thought I could use this green, which was Lost Lagoon, and does not, that's a retired color, but kind of looked pretty on Bermuda Bay, and I think these are like my last sheets of Bermuda Bay, I guess. So what I've done was started with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock that I cut in half, and then scored down the center and folded in half for a 4 1/4 by a 5.5 inch card base. I even had to think about that today for a few minutes. I have an insert that I will stamp on when I figure out what I'm going to do with this. And then I took a piece of that paper that I don't know that I would ever really use this for. Well, I'm using it today. I mean, it's been here and I haven't used it. It's not been one that caught my eye, but for this design, I liked it. I'm going to put this through an embossing folder to give it some texture. And I'm going to forewarn you, if hubby comes home here, I'm going to pause and go check on him, and then I'll be back and finish this up. And that leads us into our story. So I'm using, just to give some texture and interest to the card and make sure I'm recording. I am. Oh, I forgot to check audio. Am I making sound? I am making sound. Yeah, okay. So this was the Basket Weave 3D embossing folder, and I'm just going to use this little 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch piece of paper. And again, you can use any embossing folder. You don't have to use an embossing folder if you don't really want to. And because this is a 3D one, I have to use a different embossing plate to get this to go through the Big Shot or Cut and Emboss or whatever machine you choose to use. So if you've been with me for a while, you might remember back in May I talked to you a little bit about when my hubby fell and hit his head, and had to go get stapled up and was really struggling with some headaches and stuff. But they kept telling us that because he had a concussion, it might take a little while for him to get over that. And I don't know if you can see the texture. You might be able to see it on the other side. Here, see the little basket weave that it makes? But that's just going to give us a little bit of fun on the top of the card. Well, in July, middle of July, right after I finished my last video actually, and we were getting ready to go to that stamp scrap art tour that I have talked to you guys about several times. He wasn't feeling really good, and so I said maybe we'll just skip that today and not go to that. I would be happy if we just went to the farmer's market and got some fresh veggies and called it a day. Well, you might be familiar with somebody who's stubborn. This is a lightweight paper. I wanted something a little heavier to stamp on. And he was pretty insistent that we were going to go. Promised me he was going to take me. No, let's just go get veggies. And so I'll be in the truck. And he started walking outside, and as I was following him, I guess we will use this because I don't have a thicker one, heavier one. And I'm going to use some crushed curry and Daisy Lane, and I'm going to stamp the small daisy 2 times. So as I followed him out, I realized he was holding on to the railing, going down the steps with 2 hands, and then started to drag his leg across the parking lot to get into the truck. And I was like, what do you think you're doing? You can't go anywhere. You can't even walk, let alone drive. And so I'm going to try to abbreviate this story too, because it gets really long. Followed him over to the truck. Asked him to smile at me and stick out his tongue, checking to see if maybe he was having a stroke. And he was acting a little weird, wasn't talking right, and wasn't able to use his hands to get the truck started, thank God. I swear he would have driven off if he could have. So in the meantime, I was calling my son to come and help me get him out of the truck. He's a big guy, and I wasn't able to get him by myself. So, and my youngest son only lives like 3 minutes away from us. So he was over there, lickety-split, helped us. We unceremoniously shoved my hubby into the back seat of the truck. And it's a work truck, so he had stuff in the back, so I couldn't sit back there with him. I had to sit up front and kind of hold him up and keep talking to him. Now I'm going to use my daisy punch and punch both of these little stamped daisies out. My son got us to the hospital in record time, and while I was checking him in, he called our older son to come home because his dad was sick, and he lives almost an hour away, so he got there as quickly as he could. Now for a little bit of interest again, I'm just going to use my bone folder and curl these petals slightly, give them some dimension. So while he was calling my older son, and the doctor finally came and got us and asked me if I would go back with her, and told us that my husband's brain was bleeding and he was in some serious trouble and they weren't able to help him where we are here, that they would fly him to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is about an hour and a half from us, driving. Flying it wasn't that much shorter, I don't know, maybe half the time, not quite sure. So I'm going to glue these 2 little daisies together, offsetting the petals. Oh, there it is. So once they had him on the helicopter, we all went on our way. My youngest son and my daughter-in-law headed back to make sure our houses were all locked up and our dogs were taken care of, and my older son took me and headed to Pittsburgh. So the next morning, he had to have a procedure to stop the bleeding, and then had to have surgery to remove the blood that had built up in his skull around his brain. While this was all happening, he did lose his movement on his right side. So all the effects of a stroke. Once they did the surgery, his right leg had movement again, but his right arm was still a little bit, needed some work, and his speech was still a little bit not right, I guess. Now I have also out of the Bermuda Bay a 4-inch by a 1.5-inch strip of paper that we're going to layer across the front. I just happen to have these little greetings from paper pumpkins that I'd saved, but you can use any stamp set that you have. There's some cute ones on Daisy Lane, as a matter of fact. It's Your Time to Shine would work wonderful. I wanted it to be a little bit smaller so that I can put it on the bottom of my card. And I'm going to make a layer to go behind that just to make it pop up a little bit. And I've pulled out some die sets of labels just to see what will work best behind the one that came with my old paper pumpkin that I had. Oh, yeah. So where was I? So it'll fit in that one. So he was in the neurology ICU for 9 days. And we were finally released to bring him home. That one's too small. Let's see, this one looks cute. But he still had to have physical and occupational therapy a couple times a week each. Oh, that'll work if this is not too big to go across. Good, good, good. And so the summer has flown by, and he's recovering remarkably well. He's actually gone back to work for a couple hours this morning, and not really ready to go back full time, but a little at a time here. He still gets to a period in the day where he's just wiped out. And the medication that he was taking after the surgery that helped with his speech, we just recently stopped that altogether, so we're kind of watching to make sure everything is okay. And so that's where I've been. We did take a couple of days here just this past weekend and went to the cabin, took the dogs and went to the cabin. And again, if you've been with me, you know that our one older dog loves going up there, and this is probably her last vacation that she'll take up there. So we didn't really want to miss it. So we just got back from there. I celebrated my milestone birthday here and am officially senior citizen now. We celebrated our 40th anniversary Saturday, just this past Saturday. This is Monday morning for me. So as soon as I get this all done, I'll upload the video and might get back on schedule here. That would be fun. This die came from Needlepoint Elements. And these are Stampin' Up! Products that I am using today. So I thought now that things are getting back into a little bit more normal pattern, I will get on here and do a card with you because I've missed visiting with everybody. And I did feel bad just sort of abandoning. The first time I walked back up in my craft room here after I had some time, I was like, oh my God, I don't even know where anything is. I didn't have a clue. I'm still looking for things. Because this has some texture, I'm going to use a liquid glue to put this on my card base to make sure that I get glue into all my nooks and crannies. I'm afraid if I use just an adhesive tape, it might not stick real well. So, about the only thing crafty that I was doing, I did get to do some stitching, some slow stitching. It just doesn't come out. You know, while he was either resting or whatever, I would try to sew a little bit. I have a challenge that I'm doing with Amy at Crafty Cat. I'm doing a 50 stack challenge, and I realized today I'm about only 8 tags behind now because I was trying to still get caught up with them. So hopefully today I will get to do a little bit of that too. Get back into my crafty world. I want to pick a day here and check with my ladies and see if they want to make a card. Hopefully they haven't given up on me. I don't think they have. They were so kind. They, hubby doesn't even know them, but they were sending get well cards to him. Everybody was just so nice. I mean, those nurses in the hospital, my goodness, I don't think they will ever get the credit that is due them. You know, and the doctors, everybody. People that my husband worked with were sending us meals once he came home, which was really a blessing. You know, we're still going to his doctor in Pittsburgh for his checkups and stuff. So, you know, an hour and a half drive down, hour and a half drive back, plus whatever time it's taken there, makes for a whole day. And sometimes I get back and just think, oh, I don't really even know what to make for dinner. So, and we'll glue this little 1.5 inch strip across the center. Sure we will. Come on. We just were coming out. What the heck? See? Some things never change. Glue bottles are still glue bottles. It's not empty. There it is. Must have a little clogger up in there. Yeah, so it was nice to have some things just to throw in the oven and have a good meal. They were great. There we go. I don't know what that was about. Oh, there must be something in there because it's getting cloggy again. Oh, and now it's unclogged. Holy cow. And then there's the clog right there. Oh, scrappy paper. That was the culprit. And we'll put this across the center. They're pretty straight. Pin back in there so I don't get it clogged up again. And then let's get a little dimensional, little foam dimensional to put on there. We'll add our label to its background. So I hope you're all doing well and have had a chance to enjoy the summer. I can't believe it's done. I mean, you know, I know as far as calendar-wise, it's not officially over, but kids are back to school and leaves are starting to fall. Oh, I did also get to spend a little bit of time with my sister and my niece. We just, we went to Mackinac Island in Michigan over my birthday weekend. They took me. Had a lovely time. Really, really pretty place. Yep. So, made sure hubby was doing good. The boys were here. So I really was a little nervous about leaving. And I'm going to add a couple of foam dimensionals to the back of my greeting label. And then we'll we're going to cheat a little bit. Only because I already have these for the ladies when we did. This was one card I already had planned before I had to cancel my last class. So, when I was in Hobby Lobby, way back in July, I think it was, oh, and I used these when we made a card at the senior center too. I found these package of butterflies. I thought these were so cute. So I thought these would be great for the seniors to use on their card because they were, you know, already there, and all you had to do was stick them. You didn't have to stamp them or anything. They're a little hard to get off of the cello paper. I think we're going to use this one. But they worked perfect that day that we were doing our project. And there! How is that for quick and cute? Oh, I think I did put a little gemstone or something in the middle. What do we have? Anything handy here? Forgot to pull that out. See, I was almost ready. I had things pretty much together for this. Now I have to remember how to upload my video. I'm telling you, when you walk away for a while, that one probably will work because it'll coordinate with the butterfly. Let's just stick a little sparkly in the middle. Maybe 3. There we go. How's that? So again, if you came back after missing my videos for so long, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you here with me, and I'm happy to be able to come back and enjoy making some cards with you again. I'm going to put more on here. I must have missed my bling. And hopefully be back again here next week with some more fun. Oh, I don't know. Where do we want to put them? I'm trying to make a path of a butterfly so that my eye kind of follows that. All right, and there we are. So thank you so much for coming back to visit with me, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye.